credit provider. T's and C's apply.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
7:02.
24 minutes now before 11 o'clock. So we have managed to get Zweli Nyathi, who is the JRA CEO, that's the Johannesburg Roads Agency CEO, to speak to us. So we're going to do a quick chat with him and then go back to your calls and WhatsApps as well. Mr. Nyathi, thank you so much for making time for us at such short notice. I really appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, and good morning to the listeners.
So I want to start off with what has been concerning a lot of listeners this morning, and that is the announcement that was made by the Johannesburg mayor about specific routes that are going to be addressed, that are going to be prioritized, because these are G20 routes. I spoke to the mayor in the previous hour, and the mayor confirmed that that's the M1 from Sandton, from the airport, Nasrec Road, the road from Lanseria Airport as well. Even though he does say that it was a matter of language, he didn't mean that they are prioritizing those routes. You are from the Johannesburg Roads Agency. Is there a plan to prioritize specific routes to fix them, whether it's potholes or you're making sure that traffic lights are functioning well ahead of these G20 meetings in the city?
Thank you. I think let me start off by saying all those things mentioned, it's our mandate, and we have plans with all the regions. If you look at it, one, it's safe to say that we've been concentrated in the CBD, in the accelerated service delivery. And if you look at it again, in the last 2 weeks, we signed an SLA with province. We're taking over the traffic signals that are not functioning. We're fixing them on their behalf. So, I think the comment or anything was misplaced previously. We're not focusing only on G20 routes. We are focusing on the entire Johannesburg. We're accelerating service delivery, and I can, identify a couple of spots where we've already done that. So we're not focusing on the specific routes per se, but it is our mandate, and we have teams regionally that works on the roads. As we speak, it's not raining. People are patching potholes. There are teams in the inner city, as you know, that's the biggest thorn and other things. So we're not targeting specific routes, but we are executing our mandate as it is. It so happened that whatever is going to happen is in Nasrec, and obviously Nasrec is part of our region as well. So we're fixing even inside Soweto itself as we speak.
There's a message I got from Sibusiso earlier who says, Clement, all the routes to and from Nasrec were up to date with all the services. The last time I saw such maintenance was during the World Cup. Why is it difficult to make this a normal thing? Are you saying to us, Dr. Nyathi, this morning that the reason that Sibusiso is seeing all these upgraded and fixed, roads to and from Nasrec, that is not because of the G20 meetings? That's just a coincidence.
Let me also clarify as well. When you look around the Nasrec area, I drove around inspecting myself personally. The only thing that was needed is cutting grass. If you look at around FNB, there's not even a single pothole. There was only one traffic signal that was down. So I think people are just sensationalizing it. We didn't even spend asphalt on Nasrec and everything. It is clean. The only thing was the high grass that needed to be cut. And as you can see, our Joburg Parks and Zoo is busy cutting grass after the rain. So yes, it does look manicured, but if you inspect on the ground, not even fresh asphalt is there. There are no potholes around that area. So it is not specifically because of the G20. It means that place has always had solid infrastructure. So it's not posing a challenge to us. But where we concentrated our team is the inner city, and people are not talking about the inner city, which has got grime and crime issues. All our teams, as we speak, we are busy there on the accelerated service delivery because Johannesburg is the heartbeat of our economy. But if the infrastructure is not working, then it's a problem. And with this new partnership with province, you're going to see a lot of complaints being sorted out. Your Hendrik Potgieter, Winnie Mandela, William Nicol. We already did assessment, and our teams are on the ground. On the weekend, they were busy with Olifantsfontein, R55, where the infrastructure has been broken for a long time. Thanks to province giving us that infrastructure to assist them And that is not a G20 route, by the way, but they were working on Sunday. So I think some things are just selective, but we
to be fair, Mr. Nyathi, to be fair, you can't be blaming us. It's not us. It's the mayor who said we are prioritizing certain G20 routes so that we put them up to a standard that they should be, where there are no traffic lights that are not functioning, where there are no potholes. So this is not us being selective here. It's the mayor who told us so yesterday.
Yes, I fully understand. And he came back to say I used the language. Probably it was a language issue.
Yeah, which is quite bizarre. Yeah, which is bizarre because he spent a lot of time in the beginning of our interview, and I've put up a podcast so people can listen. He spent a lot of time defending the decision to actually prioritize those routes, only at the end of the interview to say it's a language issue. But that's not why I've brought you to come here to explain the mayor's statement. He's done that himself. I want to understand what work is being done on the M1 from Sandton. Is there work being done on these specific routes? M1 from Sandton, the routes from the airport, the route from, you've already addressed the to and from Nasrec, the route from Lanseria. Are you doing any work on these roads?
Not really much, because they are national roads and some of them are provincial roads. So us as JRA, we're not really doing much, but the municipal roads that links to that, yes, there is some work because it's part of the regional allocation. We have something we call regional allocation, and that's why we have depots in every region. So your region E depot is busy checking out Sandton and stuff like that. The region A, which is Midrand, they are checking out Midrand and stuff. We don't play much into the bigger feeder roads of Gauteng, because that's also a mandate of national and central, and to a certain extent province. So we're not focusing our energies on specific routes. That's why I'm saying, even if you go into Sandton CBD or you go to Alex or Midrand, which has no G20 or anything else, there are teams on the ground, and I can share the information. As of this morning, there is a line where whatever they are doing, they feed pictures to say, this is how it was, this is how we did it. All of those things, they're in our operations service delivery groups.
Yeah. As you know, Mr. Nyathi, every time I have you, I want to give the listeners an opportunity so we address some of their issues as well. So if you can indulge me, please, I want to take a few calls, some WhatsApps as well. First of all, let me just, I got 2 calls specifically earlier on before we had you. One person was asking about why there are no lights on highways. Are you able to respond to that? Their experience is that some of our main highways in the city, we don't have lights on. And then I got a call from Jill as well, who was complaining that in the west of Joburg, the roads are so bad, and she feels like there's too much focus on the Johannesburg north and not so much on the west.
Yeah. Let me start with the last one. This accelerated service delivery program that has been initiated by the executive mayor, what we do every month, we focus on a specific region across a couple of wards. Now we're in region F, which is Johannesburg. It's got 123, it's got 69 and 60. Those are all the wards that we're fixing. When we're done, we move to region D, which is Soweto, and then G, and come back. So Sandton will get a bite a little bit later. But let's also agree that some kind of infrastructure, like Johannesburg or Soweto, it can't be compared with the Sandton roads. Why? Because of the nature they were built, and they are not so old. Whereas in Soweto, you find that there's infrastructure issues. So it was not planned. People were put before planning. So we're retrofitting the infrastructure underneath. That's why when it's raining, we always have challenges in Soweto, because most of the houses didn't have infrastructure. People were dumped there back in the days. Now, coming to the issue of no lights, you will see that as you approach the city, you will find some areas that have got lights. Our colleagues at City Power obviously can do that. But we also need to understand that our mandate doesn't extend to the highway. It ends on municipal road. Now that we have an SLA with province, if they want us to put lights in provincial roads, we'll speak to City Power and work hand in hand, since we are the road authority. It is not by choice, but it's by design that we have 3 spheres of government. And unfortunately, if there's no agreement in place, we can't go and tamper. And that also involves budget. Safety is very important. Lights are very important. And the caller is correct. But such mandate is not in our hands. Probably national government can give us some funds if they want us and city power to install those kind of lights in specific areas. It should be by nature pre-installed, but you know as well we have vandalism. If you drive on M2, you'll see a lot of poles lying on the ground that have been vandalized, which is our newest thing that we're having now. Infrastructure is being fixed and then it gets vandalized. I'll give you a simple example. 3 days back, we fixed a traffic signal at Empire. This morning, we got calls that it was flashing again. It's not a power issue. Somebody fiddled with it. It's still standing. Probably they want to start directing traffic and make money there. So we really, really have an issue of lawlessness. No matter how much infrastructure we put on the ground, we need to up on the law enforcement part. Thank you.
Let's take a quick ad break. It's 13 minutes now before 11 o'clock. When we come back, Mapula, Andrew, I'll start with you and go to your WhatsApps as well. What questions do you have for Zweli Nyathi, who's the CEO of the Johannesburg Roads Agency?
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Is the DA concerned that the GNU could be at stake?
We are concerned, but we are not surprised. We're committed to the GNU, and we're committed to a final budget that doesn't include any tax increases. The simple fact of the matter is we are not to be threatened. We are not to be intimidated. And if the ANC decides to strike a backdoor deal or even thinks about striking a backdoor deal with the EFF, both of them will have to explain to their voting base why they've decided to punish South Africans with increased taxation.
The Midday Report,
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
What are the matters that matter to you?
702 listens.
It's 11 minutes now before 11 o'clock. We've got Zweli Nyathi, who is the CEO of the Johannesburg Roads Agency. If you've got any question for him, please give us a call on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. As the JRA has confirmed that the comment that the mayor had was probably misplaced, because as the GRA, they are focusing on the entire Johannesburg. They're not focusing on specific routes. And the mayor, of course, earlier on was telling us that despite what he said yesterday, he says maybe it was a language issue. I didn't mean to say that we're prioritizing those G20 routes. Let's go to Mapula, who's calling us from is it Olivedale? Yeah, Olivedale, Mapula.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
You know, I've been listening to Mr. Nyathi, and I become very angry, because I don't think Mr. Nyathi is doing his job. I am sorry Mr. Nyathi does not travel around Johannesburg and see where the problems are. And I feel personally that the time has come for him to throw in the towel and get people who are capable. He does not even know, I think, how his subordinates are fixing the potholes. They don't fix the potholes, Clement. They fill them in. And that is why the mayor said, unfortunately, when it rains, they reappear. They shouldn't reappear. You cannot, Clement, peel an apple twice. It cannot. It cannot happen. When has Nyathi been to Rodiport around the Westgate area? It is a mess. When has Mr. Nyathi been to Rodiport from town to Home Affairs and towards Neighborhood Street under the bridge? It's a mess. When has Mr. Nyathi been to Olivedale, Benjamin Street, Jesse Street, Patrick Street, Amsterdam Street? I mean, we get into accidents because they don't even fix. And my point is, Clement, when they fix, I mean, thereafter the road is damaged itself. When you drive on, they just go because of the filled potholes. No, he's not doing his job. But if he was doing his job, he should be aware that his people are not doing their jobs.
And this is in those areas that you mentioned, Mapula?
Yes.
Okay, got it, Mapula. Let me give Mr. Nyathi an opportunity to respond. Go ahead, Mr. Nyathi.
Thank you, Clement. And I've noted the concern from the listener. This is rainy season in a way, we did issue a brief to say there's re-emerging potholes. Unfortunately, the infrastructure is old. We are patching, we are doing our best, but when they re-emerge, it means we must patch again and use even more better material. But one thing we've done, in the same region she's complaining about, I can share a spreadsheet. There are some streets that were worse, and we managed to resurface. Resurfacing is very expensive because you put a whole new layer that seals the potholes, but also give a new lifespan to the entire road. Unfortunately, where we are, we cannot reseal the entire network that is about 15,000 kilometers at once. That's serious budget. But where we realize that the road has reached this lifespan, it means we must make a call. It's either we resurface or we close. But now that we have our own plant, we don't buy asphalt, it makes it even much better for us to reseal or resurface the road. Yes, I fully admit that the infrastructure backlog is huge and the roads have been damaged to a point where we don't know what's happening. Now it's been raining. There will be new potholes emerging, but I can guarantee her she has shared the street that she has concerns with. I will speak to the regional managers that side in Region C to be specific and to find out exactly, because even where we are, 3-4 days ago, some streets didn't have potholes. Today you drive, you have to swerve around, and it's raining. You can only patch when the weather allows you to. We cannot patch in the midst of rain. So we're taking note of that, and we're not defending anything. And I can come back on the show and say whatever she has said, we've attended to it. If it re-emerges, it will be a phenomenon that's happening. But I welcome the criticism as well, and to say we're doing the best that we can do, and it's evident we can even prove to anyone that this is what we've been doing. These are the plans for the region and citywide as the city of Johannesburg.
So, okay, can I check in with you next week to check if you've addressed these concerns she's raising?
Yes. As we're speaking now, I will escalate it to the HOD and the regional teams to say they are complaining about Rodeport, and then we'll have a look at it around Westgate, Olivedale, and stuff like that.
Okay. Now, why do, once you've patched these roads where there are potholes, then after it rains, it re-emerges? Doesn't that speak to the quality?
Yeah. Matching new asphalt with 50 years old asphalt sometimes is an issue, because once there's water in between the two types of asphalt, it starts sinking in. Once it's soaked and cars are driving on it, one needs to also understand our roads are accommodating trucks that never existed because we don't have rail. So there's high traffic volumes and there's heavy duty cars driving on our roads, and those ones, if they drive just for a day, you'll see a different pattern on the road. So the roads are strong, but it's the heavy traffic and adverse weather conditions that is messing it up. Hence, I'm saying once the rain stops, we'll deploy teams to those areas of concern and be able to attend to their queries.
All right, here are some other questions.
Hi, Clement. Just a very quick question for Mr. Nyathi. The M5 Beyers Naudé going between Johannesburg and the N14, that had work on it for a number of years, and all of a sudden it stopped, and you've got massive growth where the roads were excavated for build. And then just secondly, very quickly, how do we escalate? How do we ensure that there's quicker delivery of filling of potholes? There's massive damage to private vehicles because of the potholes. Every rain sees new potholes opening up. Ashwin in Velterfield.
Hi, Clement. Spulelo here. Just a question for your guest, my good sir. Are they going region by region, ward by ward, because of lack of resources? Or what is the reasoning behind it? Because as you've seen, the latest rains have damaged roads, and Eguruleni, most of the streets don't have street lights, which have been damaged for I don't know how long. And just like the other previous comment, the West is being ignored. Sentin, yes, it's new, but why are they going ward by ward? Is it resources, or is it a lack of proper planning?
Mr. Nyathi?
Thank you. Let me start with the first one. If there's excavations, it means it's either they were fixing a pipe or something, or it's the fiber guys, or it might be power related. We have a program of reinstatements where we're going corner to corner checking where the road has caved in, or if there was some work and it's not good quality, and we reinstate it in-house. We have a spreadsheet of all the intersections. So we'll have a look at Beyers Naudé and be able to fix the concerns if it's excavations, like she's saying. And the issue of potholes, which is within our mandate, we'll be able to attend to that. I'm busy taking notes as we're speaking. When we deploy the team, we'll deploy to those specific areas of concern. The issue of region by region, to the caller, remember, the way in local government we are, there is wards. From wards, then you have regions, and then you have all those things that are specified in demarcation. And I heard him talking about Ekurhuleni. I represent Johannesburg Roads Agency, not the entire Gauteng. So Ekurhuleni is an independent metro, just like Johannesburg. I think the colleagues can talk to that from the other side. But where it is important, we are resorting to go ward by ward, region by region, so that we don't leave anyone behind. Practical example, what we're doing in the inner city. The last 2 weeks, if you look at the then and now, Region F, Ward 59, 60, 123, and all those wards that make up Region F, we've done a tremendous lot of work. We have unblocked, we have put new infrastructure, people who are not adhering to building compliance. So all teams from Johannesburg are busy, and we also resurface some areas there. This is what's going to happen region by region, so that when we come back, we're just doing maintenance. We have attended to the regions and monitor if maybe there's recurring issues. It is for that specific region that we do this accelerated service delivery.
Zweli Nyathi, CEO of the Johannesburg Roads Agency, thank you so much for making time for us at such short notice. We asked him to come on immediately after we had that conversation with the Johannesburg mayor. We'll check in with him again sometime next week. It's a minute before 11.